Good morning. It's early. It is about 6 in the morning and it is Wednesday. I'm getting ready to get my coffee made, my stuff together, and I'm going to head out to do gig work. I try to leave here about 6:30. I want to show you this morning how I did my coffee. Okay, let's start by making our coffee. I have my coffee maker and it does either pods or crafts. Right now, I'm going to do a craft. My coffee, it's a keto coffee, I guess you'd call it, and it's more or less a bulletproof. So I make brown butter, which I will do a video on, and I include it with MCT oil and a little bit of salt in my coffee, and it is wonderful. And I don't have to add all the cream and everything, even though I do like the cream and I add it sometimes. First thing in the morning, I don't. I just do a fatty coffee. Okay, I'm dressed and ready to go. So now I'm going to make my coffee. I'm going to show you how I do it. Let me move you over here. Okay, well, I'm going to take my coffee and I do it in a bullet. And you can do it with a whisk. I also have a little power whisk here, a coffee frother. That works as well. So yeah, use whatever you have. You have to blend it somehow. I put about a tablespoon of MCT oil. I get this from Costco. This is the brown butter I make. And I have little squares. I throw one in. I use new salt. I put about a teaspoon in there, half a teaspoon, something like that. This is potassium. And I am low on potassium. So I just put in about, it's almost a teaspoon. I do it I measure in my hand. I also use Lugol's 2% iodine. I put a few drops in there. This one's almost empty. So I have butter, salt, and MCT oil, and I added my coffee. And this makes it creamy and gives it a nice round flavor. Alrighty, that's what it looks like when it is done. Looks nice and creamy. Now I do 2 of these because I'll be driving all morning. I make 2 cups of coffee. There's my 2 coffees. They're ready to go. For lunch, I have a pancake I made. I have a blueberry muffin. Well, actually, that would be for breakfast. I have a keto treat for the end of the day. And in here, I have what I made yesterday. I made some pork belly and some sausage. They are cheddar betters, and I like those. And I'll probably throw in a hard-boiled egg. I usually have one of those in the morning. I'll put this all in my kit, and I'm ready to go. Let's go! Hi, good morning. This morning, here I am making some brown butter. I love brown butter. It's just one ingredient, and I make it up, and I put it in the freezer, and I use it to fry my eggs. I use it in my coffee. I use it for anything I'd use butter and want a little stronger flavor. So here we go. I'm taking a stick of butter, and I'm melting it very slowly on low heat in a pan. I use a stainless pan, and I am going to keep stirring it. As it cooks, it will get frothy. You don't want it to come to a full boil, so pull it off and on the heat if you need to. It will slowly start to turn color and start to caramelize. You don't want to bring it too dark. It'll keep cooking in the pan. Right here, it's a beautiful color. I'm going to turn off the stove, and I have a few seconds to get it into a container. And I'm going to put it in the fridge to set up. Okay, here is the brown butter that I had made and put into this
mold earlier. Actually, what this mold is it's a loaf pan, and you can see it pops up and down. And these are great for living in an RV. I have a few of them. I have a square cake pan. I have a round cake pan. I have this. I'm going to put it back down because I don't need it up. I just like the rim to hold the butter in while I put it in the refrigerator or freezer and let it cool down and get hard. This is very hard. I'm going to show you. I'm going to see how I'm going to pop it up. When I turn it over, you're going to see all the bits in the butter that were browned when I was cooking it over a very low heat. That's all the brown. That's the caramel flavoring right there. So I'm getting a piece of parchment paper. This I just get from the dollar store. I know it's like $1.25, I guess. But anyway, so I'm going to lay this on here, and you'll see why. So I can use this to pick it up or move it, and I don't have to touch it. I am going to use a pizza wheel, and I'm going to cut it. And I'm going to cut it into sizes for my coffee. You cut it any way you want. Sometimes I just make them on the larger side, and then sometimes I cut off pieces as I go along or break them in half. Probably use like a teaspoon. This would be about a teaspoon right there in about 10 ounces of coffee. I'm going to take these and I'm going to try not to touch them, and you can jiggle them up. I'm going to put these into a baggie and I'm going to throw it in my freezer. I do this so I don't have to touch it, and gently push it in there, and there you go. This goes into the freezer, and whenever you want some butter chips, you can throw them in. You can, anything you want to flavor, throw them in. Okay.